Hey, I'm Max, and I'm trying my best. Guys, haven't you ever wanted for a cute alien to crash into your backyard and solve all your life's sorrows? Because that's exactly what Down to Earth is about. And in this video, I'll be drawing Stace. Down to Earth is one of the most popular romance comics on Webtoon created by Pookie Senpai. I discovered this comic in middle school, and from then, up until about the middle of 9th grade, I inhaled it like the cleanest, freshest air. I was a die-hard fan, and my only and sole purpose for existing every Monday was to tune in for the new episode of Down to Earth. Now let me be clear, I still tune in for this comic, okay? I've already gotten deep enough in the rabbit hole to stop, so I might as well see it through. But I'm not as much of a die-hard as I used to be, because much like wine, I have developed. Granted, not by a lot, but for what it counts, I did. Another thing I want to be clear about is that I will not be criticizing the art style because it's not my place to do so, and I'll speak more on that later. Also, yes, there is a truck right outside my home, literally right outside my window, and there is nothing I can do about it, so that's gonna be there. Down to Earth follows the story of Cade, a quote-unquote loser who meets Zeta, an alien from Zodia, and what do you know, they both fall in love. So they get together and ride off into the sunset, right? Wrong! Cade has been left traumatized from his last relationship with Delilah, a character I despise so much that the mere mention of her gives me acid reflux. I don't know what it is about her, like yeah, she's an antagonist, but there's just something else about her that irks me. So like I said, Cade has been left with his heart in two from his ex and can't seem to get over her, so naturally this love story will be stretched farther than a cheese pull. It follows the growing relationship between Cade and Zeta, along with their friends, and Zeta's new life on Earth as an alien. Now, on paper, the premise is not bad. It can be a compelling story, and also it is a webcomic, so I'm well aware we're not supposed to take it English class reading analysis seriously. This is simply my opinion, and regardless of what I say, I'm still part of the fandom. So, let's talk about the dynamic between Cade and Zeta. Cade is portrayed as this perverted loser. Off to a great start. He's a video game head, works at Spender's, which is the parallel universe version of Spencer's, and is introverted. Zeta is supposed to be a sweetheart alien who couldn't hurt a fly. She has compassion for everybody and is filled with innocence, kind of like a child. And when you put it like that, you can see how it's a bit weird. And I hope I don't have to spell it out any further. This is giving me big Robin and Starfire vibes. I don't know if it's intentional, but that's what I'm getting. But Starfire and Robin work because... Whoa! That sounded like a fucking tuba. Okay, I think I'm gonna have to wait until that truck leaves because this is not doable.
Few moments later.
The truck finally left. So like I was saying, Starfire and Robin work because while Starfire is a very kind individual, she's also a badass alien. Like if you tick her off, she won't hesitate to blast you into dust. And Robin, although an outcast who isn't always taken seriously, is the opposite. He's more of a tough cookie, but has a soft spot on the inside, especially for Starfire. Sure, Cade and Zeta are cute, but it almost feels like a caricature, where their traits are too exaggerated, so you already kinda know the story after only reading one episode. And of course, both of them will get together in the end. Sure, both couples complement each other's partners, but Robin and Starfire don't just look cute together. They complement each other in a way that's more natural. What really bothers me about Cade is the fact that despite him being well aware of how messed up he was left after Delilah, he doesn't do too much about it. Like, brother, I understand it is hard to seek help when you need it, but if he can afford a house, not an apartment, not a condo, a house, on an isolated piece of land at that, a cat, and a new roommate, then he can most definitely put a little to the side for a therapist or a psychiatrist. Like, he needs to drop his real estate agent, because where do you find property like this? Not to mention his ex after Delilah, Ellie. Ellie and Cade weren't really in love, though. I don't know what you would classify their relationship as, but it definitely wasn't real love. I guess it was a rebound? I'm not sure. But Ellie really saw a broken dude and was like, it's for your real estate, since we're on the topic of estates. From what I can recall, they got together after kissing at a playground. Or was that Delilah? I know that Cade and Ellie were childhood friends. I know there was a scene with a playground. Listen, I'm not about to go and scroll through 218 episodes. Hell nah. But what I can recall is there was a playground, there was a kiss. But regardless, it wasn't real love. Cade didn't even care when she broke up with him, and he literally saw it coming. So there's that. Okay, I lied. I'm fact checking it right now. It's episode 27 and 28. where Ellie appears. I now just realized just how many exes Cade had after Delilah. Counting 1, 2, 3, and with Ellie 4. Oh my god, this dude was a player. He was a player. Okay, to recap what happened between Cade and Ellie, because my memory's terrible. Cade and Ellie were childhood friends. Ellie introduced Cade to Delilah, and then Cade was like, okay, F you. Basically started ignoring Ellie. Then Cade and Delilah broke up. Cade went crawling back to Ellie and became friends. This is while they're adults. Then both of them end up going to a playground. Actually, Cade went to a playground. Ellie found him there. They kiss at the playground. They get together. And then things don't work out. They break up. There you go. That's what happened. This dude's dating history is messier than a freaking bowl of spaghetti. I don't even... What is happening at this point? Oh my god, okay. It feels like the relationship between Cade and Zeta is kind of forced. Like, yes, of course, you're gonna have to share a bed and watch each other freshly step out of a shower, even though in real life you look like a pickle taken out of a jar. But anyways, of course you're gonna have to watch each other sleep and blush 500 times and nearly kiss and then actually kiss because of the heat of one moment. Of course, you're going to break every rule they established at the beginning of the comic. Also, Cade was out there gatekeeping Zeta. In the earlier episodes of the comic, there was one where Stace, Cade's manager, admitted that he had a thing for Zeta and said how beautiful she is. And Cade tweaked out, even though they are literally not together. Like, I'm sorry, but you can't gatekeep a house you don't own. And it's not like Cade himself wasn't drooling over Zeta, because he has, and he still is. And that, sir, is hypocrisy. You can keep your crush, but like Beyonce said, if you like it, then put a ring on it. And I know he can probably afford it too. Cade and Zeta are fine. Do I wonder whether their future children are gonna be weird hybrid babies like the babies Donkey and Dragon Lady had in Shrek? Yes, but we gotta keep moving along. I think something I want more of in this comic is the actual backstory about Zeta. Like, she's one of the main characters after all, and I think that her home planet is intriguing. I want to know more about her mysterious family and why every female looks almost identical, and why there doesn't seem to be a male in sight at that. I want to know why there's a hidden part of Zodia that's run down and all haggard, but it feels like those components are like powdered sugar on pancakes. It's only there for a little show and a bit of taste, but it should be like the maple syrup, a main component. Then there's Stace, Cade's manager, and let me say it now, I don't understand the hate he got in the beginning of the comic. Like, he was getting bashed in the comments, and for a short while, I'll admit I wasn't a huge fan of him either, but then we started to get an arc for him. We saw his backstory and he got more involvement, and suddenly he became my favorite character. Not to mention that his home looks like a Pinterest board. But even before this, I don't think he deserved that much hate, so I'm glad he got a redemption arc. Stace came from a very poor background. He and his father had very little money, and he got bullied a lot by other kids, even though being unfortunate wasn't his choice. Then as he grew up, he only focused on school, his career, and money so that he wouldn't be in that situation again, which left no room for friends or even love, so you end up feeling for him. But now he's trying to redeem himself, and it's admirable. He's making decent bank and can bring home a nice pack of cigarettes, or bread. Then we have Cannon, a character more prominent in the latest episodes, which I don't even care about. I'm sorry, but it's not my fault he was named after a freaking camera company and a war weapon. Canon doesn't exist, and I'm moving on. Susie is much like Stace, and is a character that gets more fleshed out. She's queer, but had to run away from home when she was young because her family wouldn't accept her. Susie ends up getting a job at Spender's Stew, has her own place, and a potential love interest. She also gets to reunite with her sister because she's the only family member that loves and accepts her. This is genuinely a wholesome story, and I have nothing bad to say about it. My thing is that all the other characters in the story are unique, but they aren't the main ones, but they end up shining more, which takes away from the actual main characters, Cade and Zeta, and I wish they too were more fleshed out, more real. Maybe they don't need as much diversity or tragedy, but just something. Maybe there should have been a plot point about getting Cade therapy and learning to seek help rather than isolating his feelings. Maybe Zeta should have had an arc where she learns the truth about herself and planet, even if it's a hard pill to swallow, because then she can learn how to be more her own person and discover how she wants to live the rest of her life or how to get over her past life. Maybe they need to be pulled further apart to bring them closer together. I know that there was a point already where that happened and Zeta moved out to live with Susie for a while, but it just felt incomplete in a way. Like, it was supposed to bring Cade and Zeta closer, but it just doesn't feel that way because both of them still struggle with their own issues and can't seem to figure out what in the hell they are. If their love should really be tested, give them the ultimate one: actual distance. I have a hard time believing that they're quote-unquote working on themselves when they're out here doing this. And this is from episode 218. Also, why is he wearing socks at the beach? Anyways, they say it's just one more, but everybody does. One more chip and you end up eating the whole bag. One more grape and you end up eating the whole vine. But I also know that things like these are thrown in to keep the reader engaged, so I guess it is what it is. Something I do appreciate about this comic is the art style. It's unique and cute, reminiscent of Zelda. Hell, I have even taken style inspiration from it. So credit where credit is due. I think Down to Earth is an okay comic. Amidst all of the romance stories on Webtoon, I think this is one that's actually palatable and has some sustenance. It's just that my main criticism is the actual relationship between Kate and Zeta. And when a main character, dynamic, or component in a story has holes or flaws in it, it takes away from its charm. But at the end of the day, 8 o'clock p.m. to be specific, I'll still be reading it. I'll remain sat here waiting for each episode or until my mind comes back down to earth. You see what I did there? Yeah, I think it's time for me to end this. I struggled a lot with this piece and had difficulty finding the brushes that I was switching between, but this is the end result. Also, this episode has taught me that I need to do more research or preparation for topics that I choose to talk about, because it's clear that my mind and memory are escaping me. So that is a lesson to be learned. Don't forget to wear your tinfoil hats, and until next time, I'll be in the toolbox.